Good afternoon. I'm Katie Yoakum, Program Manager for the Envestnet Institute on Campus program. And today we have with us three panelists, all representing very important roles that make an impact to our industry. We will be hearing their thoughts on not only how such a program like the Envestnet Institute on Campus is helping in educating and training of the next generation, but the roles they play as a university program advisor, student, and as an independent financial advisor that can have an impact on students interested in a career in the wealth and asset management industry. Essentially, for the Envestnet Institute on Campus, our mission is to provide this industry with a talented, diverse pool of workforce-ready interns and entry-level employees. This includes for underrepresented populations like more women and people of color to increase that pool of talent. As an industry, in order to continue to thrive, we need to continue to prepare the next generation by providing an understanding of our business. Because of Bill Krager, CEO and co-founder of Envestnet, and with Jim Seifert, chairman of the program's advisory board, with their vision and innovative spirit, build a program that is wrapped around a self-paced e-learning platform that consists of 7 online courses and tests. It provides practical knowledge of the wealth management industry to participating colleges and universities at no cost to the student or the institution. We have in just 5 short years trained over 3,500 plus students, have 43 participating universities and colleges nationwide. And we are widely recognized by the financial services industry. In addition, with the collaborative support from academia's participation, our sponsors like Tegra 118, Jackson National Life Insurance, Fidelity Investments, and partners like DAC Associates, we have been fortunate enough to offer supplemental resources to further support, mentor, and help to better position these students who have shown an interest in this industry even after they graduate school. If you want to contact us, you can reach us by either emailing me directly or visiting our website at investnetinstituteoncampus.com. Now, with that brief overview in mind, I would like to begin our Q&A session with the following panelists. And as the moderator of this discussion, I have the great pleasure of introducing the following panelists. So let's get started, because I know myself and our audience are very interested to hear their thoughts on how going through a program like ours and ways each of their roles can play a part in attracting the next generation to this industry that can benefit all students. So first, we have Paul Barochin. Paul is the Assistant Professor of Professional Practice in Finance at the University of Miami through the Miami Herbert Business School, acting as Program University Advisor for the Envestnet Institute on Campus program. Then we have Cole Dixon. He's a current junior attending the University of Miami and majoring in finance and economics, as well as acting intern for Fens Asset Management. And lastly, we have Joe Fernandez. He's a wealth management specialist and owner of Fens Asset Management in Miami, Florida. Welcome, gentlemen. It's so good to have you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So let's begin the discussion with Paul. The University of Miami is new to the program as of this fall. Being that this is your first session with us, we hope we can get a fresh perspective from you as a university representative. So my first question for you, Paul, as a program advisor, what made you decide the Envestnet Institute on Campus was a good program to be involved in and when offering to your students?
That's a great question, Katie. I think that effective teaching, really in any discipline, but particularly in business, sort of a very hands-on one, really does benefit from a combination of both theory and practice. And that's sort of why incorporating the practitioner side of things, which is something that EIOC is so great at providing, I think is a huge value add to UM students who are interested in investment management and wealth management, precisely because they can then see the same sort of material that I teach them in the classroom reflected and actually used in practice.
Wonderful. Thank you. So then So when you're on campus, what is top of mind when college students discuss or speak about the wealth management industry or financial services in general? Is there a conversation about it around the students that you are privy to, or do you feel, like, do you also feel they have a good understanding of what the wealth management industry actually offers them?
I think there's a lot of heterogeneity. There's obviously students who have a tremendous amount of investment experience, and maybe some not just on their own, but as interns or ones who have worked with practitioners already. But some, of course, are coming into it in a much more sort of naive understanding of things. So I think the ones that have not interacted with an industry partnership like EIOC or maybe the CFA Institute really have more of a second-hand knowledge of how wealth management or investment management works. And in some ways, I think that may be a sort of misrepresentation of how it actually does work, given sort of the very diverse backgrounds and skill sets that the profession requires.
Right. So, well, with the question on top of that, I mean, do you think there's another way to kind of correct that misconception or, misrepresentation of the industry? Because it's almost like, there's so many different opportunities in the industry that like can refer to legal positions or even marketing, operations. And, I mean, I know from our program, we're introducing those, but it's almost like, I wish we could tap in earlier before they actually come to our program to know that. So, but like you said, you're basically, your role is to teach them practical, basic, foundational, knowledge.
That's right. And yeah, I think that the way that investments is portrayed perhaps in the movies isn't actually the way that, it's done in the practice. It isn't people in high-rise glass buildings and suits running complex computer models necessarily, though of course that can be part of it. But I think that's
Right.
what's really good about the EIOC curriculum, is that it shows students that there is so much more to it besides just that.
Right. So what ways are academia and professors like yourself making these students more employable and better prepared to walk that bridge to be workforce ready? Is there anything that you implement in your course or curriculum?
So personally, I do see great value in sort of combining theory with practical skills. So I train my students how to use the Bloomberg platform because that's something that's often done in the industry. I have them do case studies, analyzing real data. I have them present their own work to each other because I think really the soft skills in finance are often neglected, but are of course really important, especially in an area like wealth management. But this is also something that I see reflected in the EIOC curriculum, and that's something that I wholeheartedly support.
Wonderful. How do you, well, you just basically answered the next question. So you do feel that like what is offered by the Envestnet Institute on campus in content it complements what you're already teaching in your classes or online now, really. But is there anything else that you can kind of see, like going through the program or hearing? I mean, I know you just started this fall session, but are you getting any feedback from your students so far?
For now, I haven't heard much from the students directly, but I think one thing as we get closer to the end of this first session that I think will be really meaningful to them is
Right.
the networking and sort of career building opportunities once they complete the online curriculum. Because I think that sort of, building the career network, putting them in touch with employers who want to hire in sort of introductory positions in wealth management or investment management. Obviously, that's eventually going to be top of mind for graduating seniors, and that's, I think, going to be a really strong advantage to them for that. But broadly, I hope that they will come away from the experience with sort of a better sense of how the stuff they learn in the classroom gets implemented in practice.
Right. Right. Well, I mean, and honestly, it'll be really interesting to hear feedback if you get it from the students that have gone through for the first time for this session, and also your feedback because it's your first experiencing the program itself all the way through. So we always appreciate any ideas or concepts that could be added to the content to build on what is already offered. So even from your perspective as a professor in that that realm, it would be interesting to hear your thoughts. So that's wonderful. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate your time in answering these questions. It's very beneficial. Next, I would like to move on to Cole Dixon. Like I mentioned, Cole is an attending junior at the University of Miami currently, and he has become such a great advocate of our program. So Cole, I would like to start asking you, what did going through the Envestnet Institute on Campus program do for you specifically?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. EIOC has actually been incredibly helpful to me because it's taught me stuff that I wouldn't have learned in a traditional classroom setting. Being in a classroom setting, you learn a lot of the same things that other students are learning, but I've known for about a year now that I am very interested in pursuing a career in financial services, more specifically private wealth management. But what EIOC taught me that other classes may not necessarily teach me are really the foundational knowledge of the industry, from anywhere from the technology that you use on a daily basis to best practices of the industry when it comes to speaking with clients to how to pursue a career in the industry. I've also networked a lot with various high-level firms, well-known names like Envestnet, networked around Envestnet a bit as a result. And overall, the program has been a huge help to me.
Wonderful. Yeah, well, you make a good point because this type of program can be a way of networking and giving you a leg up or maybe another door that opens. So it's not just learning or going through the course, the classes and the tests. You actually are being introduced to individuals specifically. So yeah, so you made a good point.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And the resume and internship hub is also huge. It's a huge tool for students to use.
Right.
And it really is able to connect different people with various firms for full-time and part-time recruiting.
Right. Wonderful. So my next question, so you have the experience of an internship with an independent advisor, Joe. Tell us how you landed this opportunity and what did you learn from your experience working with him this past summer?
Well, last semester, I was working for a small venture capital firm in Miami, and I was under the impression that that was something I wanted to do. I was very involved in entrepreneurship, and I've always wanted to get into entrepreneurship. That's the unique thing about private wealth management, right? Is it connects entrepreneurship with the financial services industry. So you get the best of both worlds. But during my internship with this venture capital firm, I started realizing this isn't really what I want to do with my future. And so I started reaching out to small and mid-sized firms in the Miami area, ranging from anywhere from private equity to financial advisory. I ended up reaching out to Joe Fernandez on this call. He's my current boss. I inquired about internship opportunities, highlighting the value that I would bring to his firm. Having extra hands on deck is always great. And so I ended up accepting an offer to come on board where I still work. And my somewhat unofficial title now is Director of 401k Acquisitions. So what I do for that is I'm essentially in charge of prospecting and onboarding new clients. And I've learned a lot from my time at the firm. Being able to work directly under Joe, the CEO and founder of the firm, has been an exceptional role for me and something that I would not have been able to achieve at a larger firm, because obviously the CEO is going to be doing his own thing and working with only high-level employees rather than just interns. So my biggest takeaway from the experience is that, don't be afraid to network around with people, no matter how high at the firm they are. Shoot your shot, because the worst thing to come of it is you get a no, and then you use that to learn from that experience. So when you get rejected from something, you want to turn that around and you want to bounce back. But when you bounce back, you come back stronger with each rejection. And also,
Right.
You have to be confident. Confidence is what really sells. And that's really what will land you not only part-time positions, but full-time positions out of college as well.
Right. That's a great answer. Well, I also have to interject. without Joe Fernandez doing his part in reaching out to us and having and beginning a relationship with me, we would have never met you or Paul. So it, you know, again, it's been an amazing experience for me watching it, and how you're a part of it, and how Joe basically is definitely the initiator. So you guys are all perfect examples of what we're looking for, and it's just a wonderful story. So, but also to get back to the question, so how did the EIOC course prepare you for your internship, do you think?
Yeah, so going through well, actually, I guess I'll start off by mentioning how I came across doing the EIOC internship and touch up on what you just mentioned there. When I started my internship, Joe tasked me with communicating with you to bring the program to campus. And tagging onto that, I can't emphasize enough Joe's efforts in implementing this amazing program at the University of Miami. I think that not only this semester, but for future semesters and even summers, this is an exceptional program for students at the University of Miami, and it's going to be incredibly beneficial for everybody that participates. So,
Yep.
You know, now that this has successfully been implemented at the university, he had me enroll in the program over the summer, and going through the program really prepared me for the internship because it gave me a foundational knowledge of the industry. Moving into asset management, I had no prior experience in the industry. So quite frankly, I didn't know what I was doing with a lot of this stuff, but it gave me the foundational knowledge that I really needed to succeed. So it taught me about the various technologies that we use in the industry. It taught me about, as I mentioned before, the best practices of the industry. And it really taught me just about everything that there is to know from a foundational level about the industry, and you know how to really succeed as an entry-level position.
We'd like to hear that. That's wonderful. So with my last question for you, Cole, do you feel after going through the classes and the tests, your perception of the financial service industry has changed a bit? I mean, does it kind of like give you a more well-rounded idea of the industry?
Yes, absolutely. Before Envestnet Institute on campus, I didn't really realize how vast the financial services industry truly is. I was familiar with the industry before, but now I really understand just how massive the overarching industry of financial services is. It incorporates, you know, anywhere from financial advising to wealth management to all these different fields under the greater umbrella of financial services. Additionally, it was very surprising to me to find out how huge the role of technology is in the life of a financial advisor. You know, not only does it help with, you know, CRM, customer relationship management, but a financial advisor has at his or her fingertips the technology to help with every step of the process, whether that be onboarding clients, communicating with clients. You know, financial advisors even have the technology to send out, you know, happy birthday emails to all their clients when it's their birthday automatically without even doing anything themselves. You know, the technology available to financial advisors is truly amazing. And that's one of the big things that really changed my perspective of the industry is, you know, just how huge technology is.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, thank you, Cole. You have been an exceptional example of what can be expected from the next generation of talent going through our program and just being out there. And you've been a wonderful experience. So I appreciate your time and your answers. So next, I would like to introduce Joe Fernandez. He's a wealth management specialist, like I mentioned. Joe, I'm really interested to hear your perspective, coming from an advisor, on how recruiting and possibly retaining young talent in this industry may be a challenge, especially with the current world situation. And so from your perspective as an advisor who is an employer, my first question for you is, why do you feel there's a gap or a challenge to attracting young talent into this industry?
I think, and thank you again for having me and all the panelists. I think that it's really promoting the wealth management business in a way that people can really understand what it encompasses. And I think Cole was very good at describing his perception after the program, before the program. Also, the technology world and the fast-paced positions that are out there, I think have taken a lot of the young people into those areas, and I'm sure many have done well. But the thing with wealth management is that it's more of a long-term career versus something quick and fast. And I think that the mindset has to be right from the get-go in order for them to come into the industry and understand that it's a marathon, not a race. But unfortunately, I think, fortunately, unfortunately, I think we've done fantastic as a nation with the entrepreneurial movement, and I encourage that, and I really want to continue pushing for that. It's been fantastic, I think, for all the stakeholders of all these great companies that have come about and have done fantastic. So certainly the draw is great, but the financial services industry have also been very good at taking these technologies, as Cole mentioned, and leveraging the services that we're able to provide to clients, and at the same time link many things together that allows corporations and all these businesses to be able to scale and to conduct more business and create more opportunities for young participants. So that I would say that may be the gap between why you may not have, as many maybe young people going into it. I think it's just a need to understand how it works.
Right. And I totally agree with you, because I think it goes back to that perception. So like even, Cole might look at it as, that's being a financial planner or a financial advisor, you're kind of still having that perception that it's our parents or his parents that are sitting across the table. When in all actuality, as a young financial planner or financial advisor, you're basically relating to a younger generation as well, that you can open the doors for them and they can be your clients. So yeah, I think it's a switch and a turn in, showcasing what it can look like instead of what you see in commercials and in movies, because even commercials still show you an older advisor sitting across from the table. So it's kind of like, I think that kind of needs to change too, as the mindset for the younger generation. So Joe, my next question for you is, what more can be done to prepare the next level of talent and better position them for employment, and more importantly, retain them from an employer's perspective?
I'm sorry, Katie, say one more time, please.
So my next question, so what more do you think can be done to prepare the next level of talent and better position them for employment, and more importantly, retain them from an employer's perspective?
Well, I think your program, EIOC, is definitely, I think, gold standard when it comes to something that is that could be used beyond the universities. And the first thing I did with Cole after getting to know your program was to put Cole through that program before he even came on board, or as soon as he came on board. I know that was one of the first things that I wanted to do. That is a very, very good tool for an advisor like myself, because I've been able to mentor interns, and it's a wonderful thing. I mean, I'm enjoying it very much, but having that tool for them to see, to get a good idea of the overall purpose of the industry and how it works, it really helps a lot, because once they go through the course and they come into the practice, they now have a sort of a good understanding of the lay of the land, and it just makes the interaction between myself and the intern much easier. I believe also that any candidate considering going into wealth management is something that I think will be a very, very useful tool. So I believe that a greater distribution of what you have put together to advisors like myself and all industries that bring in new advisors would be something that I think it's worth Envestnet considering to expand beyond the universities.
Right, because I agree with you because, yes, our focus is on universities and students from that end, but it's also can be beneficial for those young associates or junior associates that are being hired or interns like Cole, because it's a tool to help with the onboarding process. I mean, if you're in a small firm, you don't have the actual time to spend and go through all that information with that individual. So yes, we totally agree with you. I think it needs to be addressed on the other side for those first starting out in firms like yourself. So Joe, what would you tell other advisors if they were to ask you about hiring an EIOC graduate?
Oh, yes. Well, I would say that if that candidate is interested in working with the firm and has gone through the program, that they have a much better understanding what career they're coming into, and that helps a great deal with maintaining that candidate for the longer term versus a short term. Because a lot of times folks go into careers thinking that that's what they want to do, and then ultimately as they're moving through the career, they realize, gee, I don't know if this is the right place to be. Case in point, I think Cole had mentioned the company he worked for before, thought that's kind of was his ticket, and then after learning from this program, he realized that how expansive and how wide the business is, and that kind of gave him a new direction. So I think it's very helpful to maintain the candidates and to have them understand from the get-go what their what their career looks like. And
Right.
I think envisioning your career is important when you come into a situation like an employer, being employed.
Right. So my last question for you, Joe. You are very connected on the academia level. What would you offer as advice to other advisors looking to make a connection or to make a difference outside of their normal daily, impact with their clients?
I think getting involved with your local universities is very, very important. I believe it always has been, and I think it will continue to be going forward. And in the universities, you have a lot of the new ideas, a lot of things are tested. I think you have a great deal of resources. Academica is really what gets us ready for our careers. I mean, that's the the bedrock of launching a successful career, whether it's in the financial services industry or legal or medical, whatever. Education is key. So acknowledging that, I would say to advisors, get involved with your local university. They're always looking for talented advisors that can help them with raising money or vetting some new programs and getting involved with the university. It's a win-win because as much as the university is helpful to us to get feedback on new research and things that are happening and getting things from their perspective, whom they have a very unique set of eyes into our communities, is extremely helpful to me because I can see what they're doing. So it helps me in my vision of my firm and how I want to continue to develop. By the same token, I think when we give this feedback back to Academica, they get an understanding of the real world and what's happening, and this allows Academica to adjust their programs to what's really out there. So it's totally a win-win. So reaching out is important because a lot of times, unfortunately, we tend to be in our little silos and, Academica here and real world here. So any effort an advisor can do with their local universities to get involved in their financial economics department is very, very helpful. And one other great advantage that I've been working with the university for many, many years is the gifting and giving, where we have clients that want to leave money for tax planning and for whatever, they leave it to the university and use the university as a conduit to help clients save on taxes and at the same time benefit both themselves personally and also the university. And that's a big advantage to the universities.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I mean, and even aside from the advisors, you actually got coal through the university. So it was a great experience. And I mean, and honestly, look at the effect that you had on him. Look at the effect that you have on Cole already. You know what I mean? So he's so geared up to be part of this industry. And I think that is both of you, Paul and Joe's impact. So I think with that, I mean, it's just, it's a wonderful thing. So on that note, I would like to end our Q&A today. I would like to thank each one of you for joining the discussion today. It was wonderful. And I know you all are very busy, so I appreciate you scheduling some time around to do this Q&A with us and sharing your thoughts. And more importantly, how you all are making a difference in our industry. We thank you. And so with that in mind, thank you very much, you guys.
Thank you, Kate.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome.